I bought my house in 2005. And in Buffalo at that time, we had this program called First Time Home Buyers, where they would give you $5,000 towards, your closing costs and all the incidentals that come with purchasing a house. Okay, so I called my councilman's office and they told me what I needed to do. I needed to pay for these particular classes and go to these classes and a few weeks in. Okay, and then I would be given my money and, this certificate and everything else. My councilman was black. So I did all the prerequisite things, only to find out he stole the money and there was nothing left when I went there. Went through all the things. I ended up having to buy the house anyway because I was in the process of that. That's what you had to do to be able to become a part of the program. So I did all the prerequisite things and he didn't have my money. And see, that is a microcosm of what black people have been dealing with in these communities. Ever since that thing that happened at Tops, where that kid came in and did what he did to all those people, and y'all understand my heart goes out to all the people who lost someone, because I recently lost my mother unexpectedly. Something went wrong in the hospital and she's no longer with me. So I understand that pain, I really do. But ever since then, they've been having these forums on racism. Let me just put something in perspective. We haven't had a racial incident up to that point since 1980 with the .22 caliber. That was the last time we had a white person coming through the neighborhood doing anything. What was last year? 2022 was the next incident. Yeah, and it was a big one. They've been having these racism forums ever since. And like I say, once again, they act like we were living a beautiful life down here until that kid came and did what he did, and we were not. Black people are saying that racism is why our communities look like they do. No, it isn't. Our communities look like they do because of the same reason I bought that house and couldn't get my money. We have been electing lame people who have been winning on name recognition and no progress. We still have remnants of the riots that I saw in 1968-69 when I lived on Monroe near Broadway and the tear gas was burning my eyes on the way to school. I remember those riots. We still have remnants of those riots. This is what black people need to understand. No business is going to move down here. You know why? Because recently we had this big snowstorm. And you know what these ignorant black kids and young black adults did? They went on a looting spree. People couldn't move. My truck was buried. I couldn't move. They went on a looting spree. Looting and filming it. Black people talking about racism destroyed this neighborhood. No, it isn't. Racism is not stopping me from going down the street when a black person stops in the middle of the street in his car and wants to kick it with his boy while I sit there and have to wait, because if I open my mouth, now I'm looking for some drama. And since most of these young blacks and black people are packing and ain't afraid to shoot each other, now we got to decide whether we want to start the argument or live. I'm sick and tired of this racism cry in this city when I have watched since the 90s. I had a radio program, a television program. I was going around putting flyers on poles and trees, trying to tell our young black people to take advantage of the educational opportunities that they were just dismissing. This was in the 90s. I tell everybody the downfall of the black community started when we didn't open our mouth to stop the lyrics in gangster rap music. Because I watched our young black people at that point take every lyric and live by it. They lived vicariously through their rap music, and they stopped wanting to be educated, so they didn't go to school, and when they did, they didn't pay attention. They stopped wanting to be employable because they ain't working for no white man, and so they're out here dealing drugs and destroying everything in our communities. Destroying everything. Now I know they love to say, ain't no poppy fields on the east side. Yeah, but nobody is making you take that poison and sell it to your people. Then you want to cry racism when you get arrested for it. You know what black people's biggest argument was? That you do more time for crack than you do for cocaine. My thing was, I don't give a damn. If you are dealing crack in my community, you need to go to prison as long as they can keep your black butt in there. While those people were looting during this doggone bad storm we had here, one of the wannabe mayor candidates got up and said that they are looting because they're poor and disenfranchised. Here go yet another excuse that they're giving our young black. That's why you can't tell young black people anything, because they're giving them all the excuses to fail. They're not even seeing the damage they're doing by giving them all these excuses to fail and do bad, do wrong. Another lady was mad because she saw cops arresting our young looters, and she didn't like how hard the cop was. And I say, I want that thing to be that arrest to be as hard and painful as possible, because I'm hoping something turns this around. But we keep having racism forms like racism is doing this, and I can just point back to every politician we have elected. Now, I will say, I like the mayor we have there. A lot of black people don't like him. But he's building this city up, and the only people not reaping the benefit is us. Because no one wants to build any business down here. There was an Asian man and woman who opened up an Asian restaurant. And within a week, they came and snuffed out the husband. For nothing. Probably because he got the shrimp fried rice wrong. We killed for nothing. For nothing. How many of y'all young we're burying? Like I was telling people, 3 weeks leading into that thing that happened at Tops, we had 6 a week. 6 shootings a week. Black people, we gotta wake up. The only people losing is us. Our kids can't be taught. They are like little animals in school. This guy, I listen to this guy, the Smart Christian channel, and he's got this thing saying, our black kids are demons. We have raised a generation or two of demons. You can look in their eyes. There's something in their eyes. They got anger in their eyes for nothing. Nobody did a thing to them. They decided to fail life. They decided not to pay attention in school. And all we ever do is defend it, blame racism on everything. But in the meantime, there's a handful of young black kids that are going to school and trying. And they are doing their thing. And we have in this city free college. And our young black people ain't taking advantage of that. They're not taking advantage of it. And they can't spell. They can't read. They're 25, 30, 35 years old and can't fill out an application. We did this. We did this with just the constant placating of their badness. They're disrespectful. You can't go into school and not see crime. Actual crime. They tore up the public library where they had to shut it down for a week. They tore it up. In their fights, they take the fights in the public library. Because why? It was too cold outside. And they tore it up. And then they got this reactive and in no way proactive group of Stop the Violence people and Mad Dads and Fathers and all these good for nothing, solve no problem groups. Just like what the church in the black community has completely failed the black community. Nobody is talking about the criminality of our young people, and we want to blame it on worldwide racism. Our kids have opportunities here, and they're not taking advantage of them. That is our problem.